he cut Cam Newton. Why?
I think it's a situation where they've seen what they needed to see from Mac Jones, Sage. And with Mac Jones ready to take over as the starting quarterback, they didn't see the need to keep around a former NFL MVP for the dynamic that would create. As much as they enjoyed having him on the roster, as much respect as they have for him, as much as he's been a model type of citizen there in New England, the Patriots felt like it would be a better dynamic to just give the job to Mac Jones, let him be the starter, not have any interference, not have anyone in the way, have a backup like Brian Hoyer, and to let Cam go seek another opportunity elsewhere, which is exactly what they did. Everybody's seen Mac Jones this summer. He led 8 preseason drives. The Patriots scored on all 8 drives, a touchdown or a field goal. The more they saw, the more it became obvious that this was Mac Jones' job and Mac Jones' team, and there's no reason to delay. And so they've given Cam Newton his release and the opportunity to go catch on elsewhere.
Adam, real quick, any consideration that you know of by the Patriots to trade Cam Newton, try to get something out of him?
Sage, he was a free agent 2 off seasons ago and didn't sign until July. He was a free agent again this past off season. There was not a lot of interest. He signed a lower valued contract with the New England Patriots. There has not been a lot of interest in Cam Newton over the course of 2 different off seasons. To go trade him in his contract right now would be difficult and challenging at best, especially with there not being an obvious quarterback injury around the league. I'm sure New England might have given it some thought. The fact of the matter is there would not be a trade market for Cam Newton.
And what this came down to come training camp time and preseason games, it all became about the football on the field, which Mac Jones proved that he executed that offense at a higher level. So Dan Orlovsky, Mac Jones now the starting quarterback for the Patriots. Now what for him going to the facility today?
Results have to meet expectations. The expectations in New England are high because of their past 2 decades of success, because of the money that they spent this offseason. And so now the expectations are that this team is going to be a playoff football team and certainly be playing meaningful games into January. Well, the results have to meet that. I'd say this, don't change a single thing, Mac Jones. You did not come into this situation 5 weeks ago and now win this job and think, I've got to become somebody that I'm not. Whatever you did to get to this point, that is who you are, and that's the foundation of who you are. And I remember doing a breakdown of his playing against Notre Dame in the college football playoff this past year and saying one of his greatest traits is he knows who he is. Even on the football field, know thyself. The Patriots just want you to go be who you are. So the maniacal preparation, that doesn't change. How you go carry yourself when you're the first person out at practice, that doesn't change. How you manage the football team throughout the practice, that doesn't change. Just because your status has elevated doesn't mean that your character is any different. And I would just encourage him, remember who you are. Remember what got you to this moment, but also be very aware. Your results have to match the expectation in New England.
You know, and I'll say this, we beat this up all the time, but it's in fact true. When you get a player that played its college football for Nick Saban at Alabama, you get the sense, the understanding of a player that's coming from that collegiate experience now to the Bill Belichick experience in that Patriot way in the NFL.
Yeah, I would say this real quickly, Matt. I think that with Mac Jones as the starting quarterback in New England now, this is a top 4 team in that conference. I did not feel that way a week ago. But watching him play these last 10 days and looking at the roster and the way the defense has come along the front 7, I think they're in the conversation with Kansas City, Cleveland, and Buffalo for a top 4 in that conference. And I would put them right at the very top of my list for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I expect him to play that well in this system with the talent around him.
Offensive Rookie of the Year, I don't think many people would argue with you on that one, Dan. I do think there'd be some interesting conversation about you saying that Mac Jones now brings them into a top 4 team in the NFL, just like that.
A top 4 team in the AFC, absolutely. In that conference, I think this vaults him ahead of teams like the Los Angeles Chargers, who are going to be very good. The Baltimore Ravens, who have some injury questions. If they stay healthy, I just believe that this young man is that good of a player. And again, he's in a perfect setting. And this is a talented offense with a great play caller and a defense that is going to be much improved in comparison to last year. Okay. Yes, I believe they're in that top 4 grouping in that conference.
Adam, let's get back to Cam Newton real quick, because he did go on Instagram, on his Instagram story, and he just posted this. Let's take a look. He said, I really appreciate all the love and support during this time, but I must say, please don't feel sorry for me. Hashtag, I'm good. So, yep. Adam, once again, you mentioned a little bit about the market, or lack thereof, frankly, right now for Cam Newton. It has been a long time since we've seen him play well. What do you expect to happen with Cam from now, especially based on the timing of this decision by New England?
It puts him in a tough spot, because obviously there's not a starting job out there waiting for him. He'd have to come in as a backup, and maybe if you're Cam Newton, you just take some time and wait to see if there's a quarterback out there who suffers an injury, and at that point in time, you have a greater opportunity. You would be the quarterback atop the wish list for any team that has a need at that position. But right now, it's not exactly like there are teams knocking down Cam Newton's door, asking him to come sign. It didn't happen 2 off seasons ago. It didn't happen last off season. You didn't see New England go out and trade him today for some conditional draft pick. And if they could have, they would have. They didn't do that. And so Cam Newton is released into a market of, at best, uncertainty, and maybe hoping that at some point in time, though you never want to see anybody get hurt, that there's a quarterback injury that necessitates a team going out to bring in a quarterback as talented as Cam Newton.
And I'll never forget when the news broke that the Patriots signed him last year. We were on this show saying, hey, look, the Patriots taking a flyer on Cam Newton. They got him for nothing. So really shouldn't be a surprise that teams aren't lining up, at least at this stage in his career. So Orlovsky, let's just assume that there is something out there with a team that might even need a backup at this point, based on some of the news we saw come out today. Who do you see as a good fit for Cam, the player, this afternoon?
The Dallas Cowboys and the Atlanta Falcons.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.